Hi guys, how are you? This is Ammonia Void here again with my 19th episode, this time on the idea of professional versus commercial work. I think it's a very important topic that a lot of people can relate to. This episode is not only for photographers, it can be applied to any type of profession, so feel free to tag along. In this episode, I want to talk about finding balance between making personal and commercial work. It's not an easy one, so let's dive straight into this. Um, have you ever found yourself in this dilemma of making art, but at the same time having to pay your bills? I think all of us artists struggle with this a lot. The question is about how to make this pure art without selling out. And there is always this anxiety about visibility, money, and authorship. So the idea is to find the sweet spots for yourself that can help you sustain, but at the same time not betray your art. So let's go. Um, at the beginning of my career, when I still used to study, long time ago, I did all sorts of photography, portraits, pregnancy pictures, weddings, and in the beginning, I tried to kind of separate myself from it, telling myself that this will help me to then make my own shoots the way I want and not to stress about money. But at some point, I felt so drained by these shoots because they were not really the reason I am making photography. And what happened was that I didn't have any creative energy left for my actual personal shoots. So the result was that I had less inspiration and motivation. And I thought this was such an important thing, moments to not ignore. I realized that this was not my sweet spot and I needed to change the balance between how I operate. Otherwise, this dynamic would really destroy my photography. Um, the first step for me was to calculate how much money I need each month, and then I tried to think where else I can get that income instead of doing photo shoots that I didn't really want to do. And I changed my workflow and I started working at a restaurant and as an English teacher. And the crazy thing was that it really rapidly, drastically changed my energy and creativity. Because my main focus was on my personal work, and while I managed to find the source of income that wouldn't make me worry about money at the end of the month. So, as I said already in the beginning, you have to find your own sweet spot. Some people are better at separating themselves from commercial and personal, from commercial work, and then they have personal work, let's say 50-50. But for me, this ratio is more like 30% commercial work, 70% personal work. And by testing different scenarios, you can find your perfect balance without too much damage. The ideal scenario, let's talk about it. Now, a lot of things have changed for me, as the situation I described to you was like 15 years ago. At the moment, I'm trying to be focused on being hired because of my personal work and not despite it. I want to be hired for my vision and not to imitate someone else. It is a difficult one because it takes a lot of time. And I'm telling you now, this is the span of the last 15 years. And you will go through numerous commercial assignments where the client will give you a mood board and it's just one photographer's images all over it. And then you start to question, why the hell didn't they hire that photographer in the first place but me? So it's not easy with this, but it's kind of a test where you have to establish your own boundaries. It's okay for a client to have a vision, but often they don't really know what they want. But for the sake of your career, please don't reproduce someone else's work because I think it's very unethical and it makes you and the client look like fools. At this moment, the focus should be on attracting the right clients and be able to say no when there is a mismatch. In the end, you don't want these clients who just want to use you instead of hiring you out of respect and appreciation. The ideal clients are those who give you some freedom, who trust you, and think of an assignment more as a collaboration. And I, you have to question, like, why am I being hired in the first place? It will help you develop strong intuition when it comes to commercial work. Instead of being constantly paranoid, you can think about, do they want my work or just my technical skills? Is my name important to them or just my labor? So this is how you can check whether it's a good fit, whether it feels right or not. The important thing is not to get scammed, um, because we live now in a scam culture, and it's really like this parasite in the art fields so much. Artists are constantly underpaid because of this gratitude culture that has been pushed in our minds and creates this fear of losing opportunities. You know, when you're presented with an opportunity, you have to ask yourself, how am I actually benefiting from this assignment, project, collaboration? Nowadays, people will make you feel as if you are being presented with the best offer of your life, while asking you to work endless hours to develop their brand, which is worth of millions. Then they underpay you, and you have to have everything ready the next day. This is a no-no, guys. This is a no-no. The one thing that I learned from this process is to respect yourself and your work. The more you have clear boundaries, the more people will respect you. I know it sounds a bit weird, but it really is like that. If you allow clients or other people to step over you, they will do it even more. And it's a test that you simply have to persist. Be prepared, have knowledge about licensing, about fees, about usage rights. Otherwise, you are gonna get abused in this industry. I'm telling you, you're an artist, but also you have to be your producer, you have to be your social media manager, you have to be an accountant, you have to do your finance, marketing, everything. So this is part of the package. You have to know what are your rights, and if somebody is doing something slightly illegal, you have to step on them. You know, like in reality, you simply have to learn how to swim with the sharks. It's sad, but this is how it is. I will give you an example that actually have a lot of things happened this year at the beginning of the year, and we're only in February. Um, I had some collaborations where I did commission work for a book, and the strange thing was that I received a contract after the book was published. So this is a first red flag. The second red flag was that the contract said that I am giving all exclusive rights while being paid a very small fee, which was more for non-exclusive rights. Let me quickly explain what is exclusive, non-exclusive rights. Non-exclusive rights means that you can use the images still after publishing with this client, that you retain the copyright and you can do whatever you want. They just buy it for the purpose, let's say, of this book or for a magazine or something like that. Exclusive license is that you lose rights for your image and the person can resell it. They can reproduce the work. A lot of brands do this, but they have to pay significant amounts to you as the artist because you don't have the rights over your own work anymore. So there was a lot of dispute going on regarding this because I was like, okay, the fee that I'm being paid is barely okay for non-exclusive rights, definitely not exclusive rights. So I requested a change for the contract to reflect that. And in the end, it worked out, and I talked to the people. And what was really nice was that in the end, they thanked me and they said, I'm so happy that you highlighted this because we had no idea. We were more used to providing license contracts for literature writers and not necessarily visual artists. So it helped protect other people in the book and in the future. So I'm really happy that the result was positive. But please, if you get this opportunity to have your work featured somewhere, or if you have a client, check the contracts very, very carefully. Check if it's exclusive, non-exclusive rights, because for exclusive rights, you need to get paid big bucks, okay? So be careful of that. And in the end, this is about knowing your worth. It's not at all about ego. So retain that, and just stand your ground, because you usually are in the right. Then we get to this point where sometimes we find ourselves in situations when we simply need some extra cash, and we have to take the commissions we don't really love. And that's completely fine, because survival is real, and we all go through certain ups and downs, especially as freelancers. Some months are really good, some months it's nothing. So those months when there's nothing, you can consider about taking an extra gig for those couple of hundreds of bucks that you might need for groceries or to pay your rent. The thing that matters here is the circumstances. Just over time, try to reduce these gigs that you actually don't really want to do. You can ask yourself, do I want my name attached to this? Or does this work confuse how people understand my practice? Then you can train your intuition, how you feel about it. Temporary compromise is not like permanent dilution. It's just something that helps you pass over to the next month, and that's perfectly okay. And now there's this preconception that commercial work always has to be bad or that it's not as good as the personal work, but I don't think it has to be. It's all about your approach, your signature, and how you are able to put your vision in it while respecting your client's wishes. I always think it's a nice challenge. My favorite type of commissions are when the client just sends me the products. They gave me complete freedom. For instance, I really love one collaboration that I did with a body jewelry artist here in Paris, where it was just so free that I used that work for my personal work after as well. Or sometimes I get approached by people to take their portraits, so I do it with the same intention as if I do my personal work, and then I can still present myself with it without any weird feeling. And I think that should be the goal, right? In my career, I am not asked very often to make new things for people. Usually, people buy license for my existing work, and I sometimes feel a little bit sad about it, because I feel that people don't trust me enough to create new things for them. They always approach me when it's ready, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's good. I want it." But what I'm manifesting for myself and for you also, to have people trust us enough to make us create new work for them. That's the next step. So this brings me to the takeaways of this episode. First one, there is no perfect balance. You have to find your own sweet spot. Another one is that commercial work you don't care about can kill your creative energy. So be careful about that. Loss of motivation is usually a warning sign, and don't feel guilty about it. Just change the dynamics. Sometimes the solution is different income, not necessarily more shoots. And also, your personal commercial ratio will change over time. As I said, like I was giving you the time frame from the past 15 years, and the ratio kept changing. And I think the same is for you. It's just about realizing, okay, it's time to change the ratio now at this moment. Another one, the goal is to get hired because of your vision, not to imitate others, because reproducing someone else's work is unethical. The right clients will value collaboration, trust, and freedom. And it's important that you have clear boundaries to protect you from underpayment and exploitation. Know your worth. This is all about respect, not ego, as I said. And temporary compromise is like taking an extra gig is okay if it's exceptional, occasional. And the last one is that commercial work can feel personal when your signature remains intact. So this brings me to the conclusion of this episode. I try to explain the importance of finding your sweet spot, which eventually changes with age, confidence, experience, and financial stability. I would like to finish with three questions that you can think about for yourself. And that is, those are, what kind of work do I want my name to carry? Who am I willing to compromise for, and who am I not? And how I can make commercial work feel like my personal work. So I leave those with you. You can think about them, you can write them down. And I hope you like this episode. Please don't forget to like, comment, or send this video to a friend who you think might benefit from this. And I see you in the next episode. Bye bye.